Good afternoon, everybody. It's 2:30 in the afternoon on July 20th, and Monday, July 20th. And I'm back out on the bike. I made a few videos and posted a few videos in which I was not on my bike. But it's a beautiful day, so I thought with rain in the forecast for the next few days, I would get out on the bike and take a ride over into Cape May and record the ride. I'm starting this ride outside across the street from the McDonald's in North Cape May, as you can see. And I will explain in a minute why I chose to start this ride here. So there was a guy down here that rode a motorcycle, not too dissimilar to my own, around this community. And everybody sort of didn't know him personally, but knew of him because he rode with a large bunny covering over his helmet. So he had, it looked like, if you saw him riding down the road, it looked like a large bunny riding on a motorcycle with the big floppy ears off the top of the helmet. And even if, most of us did not know him, I didn't know him, but everybody in this community knew of him. Well, about a week and a half ago, my wife was reading Facebook, and there was stories posted in the Cape May groups to which she belongs that talked about a terrible motorcycle accident that occurred up on Route 47 going into Wildwood. And they just talked about how bad the scene looked. Didn't know anything else about it. Well, it turns out that it was this guy who was in that accident, and he died from the accident. And he went by sort of a name in the community as Bunny Bear. Everybody knew him as Bunny Bear. And he worked at that McDonald's in North Cape May. He was 29 years old. His name was Brandon Vega. And as I say, I used to see him all the time because he worked at the North Cape May McDonald's. So I'd see him all the time riding to and from work. And, I pay attention to motorcyclists because I ride myself. And I have to say, I never personally witnessed this guy riding in any kind of an unsafe way. I don't know what the terms of the details of the accident. I don't know anything about it. All I can say from my personal observations is that he always seemed to be riding within the speed limit and always seemed to be riding safe. And I don't know if he adopted that bunny helmet to sort of create a distinctive social media presence, or whether he did it to try to make himself look visible. Because when you take a motorcycle safety class, as I did in Pennsylvania, they tell you that there are two things that you should do for safety reasons. Number one is they drive into you a firm conviction that you should never ride a motorcycle without a helmet. Now in Pennsylvania, wearing a helmet when you ride a motorcycle is not legally required. But if I ride my motorcycle up in Pennsylvania, I wouldn't go around the block without a helmet on. I've seen the statistics of how motorcyclists fare in an accident with and without a helmet. The second thing they drill into you is that the single biggest thing that you can do to make your ride safer is to make yourself stand out and be visible when you're riding. Most people in cars, their mind is not trained to look for motorcyclists. They look for other cars, and subconsciously they just look beyond motorcyclists and they don't even see them. So they tell you that what you should do when you ride a motorcycle is do anything you can to make yourself more visible to motorists. And of course then they go into what lane of traffic you should be in. Like within this lane, I'm right in the middle, but they explain that, you know, there's times when you should be in the left third of this lane, the right third of this lane, or the middle of the lane. But making yourself visible is critically important, which is why I always wear, I don't know if you can see in any of my videos, I try to always wear some kind of a sweater or sweatshirt or something, a jacket that is fluorescent yellow. I ride all the time with my high beams on, day or night, but I don't really ride much at night anyway. So anyway, I don't know whether this guy who was 29 years old, I don't know if he started wearing those bunny helmet to make himself stand out, or just, as I said, to just create a distinctive social media presence. But for whatever reason he did, he was widely recognized in this community. And as I said, I don't know any of the details of the crash. I don't know how it occurred or what occurred. I only know that there was a crash, it involved him, and that he died as a result. Of course, my wife is always very sensitive to those kind of stories because she really does not like me out riding a motorcycle. She constantly tells me that I am too old to be riding around on a motorcycle. So although I convince myself that the riding that I do, 99% of the time I'm in first gear, and as you can see, most of the speed limits on the roads that I ride is 25 miles an hour, so I'm usually going 25 or less. I'm in Cape May now, and I think I'm going to go down Washington. So I thought since I was coming out on a ride, I would start the ride at that North Cape May McDonald's where Bunny Bear worked. The other thing I thought I would talk about is, and I really debated whether I should have gone out and filmed this, but the Canadian wildfires and the smoke that drifted down even to this area, it was terrible. For 3 days, the air quality index, one day it hit 200, and it looked like the aftermath of a war. I mean, it was just, you walked out in the middle of the day, and it wasn't like a fog. It was sort of a yellow smoke filling the air. It smelled, the odor was bad. It made it feel even more hot than it otherwise would have been. The sun was not very visible. It was sort of covered a little bit by the smoke, and it was just terrible. And I thought I probably should have gone out, and on the bike or not, I should have recorded it just for posterity so that I could look back on it, because it was a very unusual thing to see down here. But you were warned really not to go out if you didn't have to. It was unhealthy. And when we did go out, if we had to go to a store or something, it was reminiscent of COVID. You saw a lot of people wearing masks. It's a beautiful day today. It's 77 degrees and blue skies. It's nice crisp air. It's not no after effects of the Canadian wildfire. So it was a nice day to get out. I went down to Douglas Park earlier today and just spent some time sitting there watching the boats come and go, and decided to go ahead and record a video of that, which I posted. And then I thought, since that was my third video that I posted that I was not on the bike, I would get out on the bike and make a video just to let the handful of regular viewers know that I'm still here and I'm still on the bike. I just had an opportunity to record a couple of videos of some pretty serene settings, and I thought I would do that. My daughter and grandkids are coming down the end of this week for the week's vacation. And I'm now at the end of Washington Street, at the start of the Washington Street Mall, pedestrian mall right across the street. It's, I don't know if you can see the clock on my bike, it's 2:44 in the afternoon now. I think I mentioned on one of my videos that I wasn't on the bike on, but I mentioned how crowded it was here on the 4th of July weekend. And I'll just sort of reiterate that it was as crowded as I have ever seen Cape May. I've said many times that when my daughter is down with the kids, I drive them over and drop them off at the beach, usually at the Cove. And then when they're ready to come home, she calls me and I come over and get them. And this was one of the days that it was really, really hot. Really hot. Heat index of over 100 degrees. And as soon as I tried to turn onto Beach Drive from Broadway, traffic came to a complete standstill. And it was, it's a popular place to drop people off at the Cove. And there was some kind of a medical event in the water, maybe a heat stroke or something on the beach, I don't know. But they had a woman, not a police officer, but she was wearing some kind of a Cape May City t-shirt to make her look official, and she was waving everybody away from the Cove and come down this end of Beach Drive, and she said they're waiting for an ambulance, but the ambulance couldn't get down to the Cove because it was just one giant parking lot, and people were, even though they're told we need to get an ambulance down here, you need to move out, the reaction by too many people is, well, I'm just going to be a second, I'm dropping people off. And that sort of adds up, and I don't know how serious the medical event was, but it was serious enough that they called the rescue squad. So when I came back to get them at the end of the day, they actually had a policeman in a car parked down at the Cove, and you could not stop. I mean, he was making you make a U-turn and keep driving. You couldn't even put the car in park. So traffic isn't bad now. I mean, you can see there's all the parking spots are taken, so there's a good crowd, which you would expect in the middle of July. We're right in the middle of the season. But this is nothing like it was on the 4th of July weekend. So as usual, I think I'm going to stop this video here and make another video of the ride back home into North Cape May. But I'm at the Cove. It's a good crowd here, as you can see. It's a beautiful day. So thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video, which will be coming up shortly. Take care, and thank you for watching.